In this season of ongoing competitive exams, where we all face a common issue that we got stuck in number of questions due to their basic terminology, which we tend to ignore during our preparation, rather we focus on preparing the complex material. As we all know that in an examination hall, we are already dealing with the high pressure of time management, negative marking, confusing questions, etc. And at such point, if we come across a question with a basic terminology which we can't solve, that really affects our confidence and morale. Keeping this in mind, Zulophied has come up with a plan in which we will be discussing these simple terminology, facts and some important points which are very important as the exam point of view and add on to your preparations. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Deepika Jolania Tomar, welcomes you at Zulophied, and in today's lecture we shall be discussing about the enzymes of DNA replication. Number of enzymes are used in the process of DNA replication, and today here we are going to enlist those important enzymes along with their function and the way they act in the process. The first enzyme is phosphorylase. The first step in DNA replication is activation of deoxyribonucleotide. This enzyme phosphorylase along with energy convert AMP, adenosine monophosphate, to DATP, GMP to GTP, TMP to TTP and CMP to CTP. DNA replication starts at initiation point, and after recognizing that initiation point, DNA has to be unwinded from that position, and this unwinding of DNA give it a Y shape, and this unwinding, next step is unwinding of DNA, which is done by helicase, also called as unwindase, and topoisomerases, in which this topoisomerases relieve the torsional strain on an double helical strand of DNA, which was later on unwinded by helicase and convert double stranded DNA to single stranded DNA. In prokaryote, this topoisomerase enzyme is replaced by DNA gyrase, and now the double stranded DNA is converted into single stranded DNA, which need to be stabilized at that point so that these two single stranded DNA does not form a base pairing again, and this stabilization is provided by a protein which is called as SSB, or a single stranded binding protein. This protein stabilizes the single strand DNA so that it does not form a complementary base pairing before the completion of the process of DNA replication. And after the formation of replication fork, the next step is synthesis of primer of RNA primer, and this is done by enzyme DNA primase. This DNA primase forms a short chain of RNA primer, short chain of RNA on a DNA template at 5' and on DNA template. And after this comes a step of base pairing. In the process of base pairing, or in this step, the deoxyribonucleotides are converted into monophosphates by hydrolysis of phosphates, and this reaction releases energy and two inorganic phosphate groups, and the energy released here is used to stabilize the hydrogen bond formed between the complementary new strand and a template strand, and this conversion is catalyzed by pyrophosphatases. The base pairing here take place according to Watson and Crick base pairing rule, which we had already discussed in a previous video. Next is strand formation, which is done by one of the important enzyme of DNA replication is DNA polymerase. There are two types of DNA polymerases, which are template dependent and template independent. Template dependent DNA polymerases are further of two types, which are DNA dependent DNA polymerase, also called as simply DNA polymerase. These DNA polymerase synthesize DNA on DNA template. And next is RNA dependent RNA polymerase, also called as reverse transcriptase. Which synthesize DNA on RNA template. And the reverse transcriptase, as we all know that, are present in HIV, human immunovirus. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes consist of number of DNA polymerases which perform several important functions apart from synthesis of new complementary DNA strand, which is proofreading, DNA repair, etc. Now let's discuss the DNA polymerase of eukaryotes and prokaryotes in detail. In E. coli, which is a prokaryote, it consists of 5 different types of DNA polymerase, which are DNA polymerase 1, 2, 3, 4 and DNA polymerase 5. These are the 5 types of DNA polymerases found in E. coli. In this, first the DNA polymerase 1, which is also called as Kornberg enzyme. Kornberg enzyme discovered by Arthur Kornberg. In 1956. This enzyme is the first enzyme to be discovered in E. coli, and it has 3 catalytic activities, in which first is 5-3' polymerase activity, 5-3' exonuclease activity and 3-5' exonuclease activities. Now the 5-3' polymerase activity performs primarily this performs a synthesis of new strand of DNA. Along with it also helps in DNA repair and gap filling. These two are subsidiary functions and this is the primary function. 5-3' exonuclease activity removes primer, RNA primer, and 3-5' exonuclease activity has a proofreading capacity. Proofreading ability. Next is DNA polymerase 2. It has 2 catalytic activity, which is 5-3' polymerase activity and 3-5' exonuclease activity. DNA polymerase 2 does not have 5-3' exonuclease activity, that is, it does not remove primer, but it synthesizes new DNA and do a proofreading. This DNA polymerase 2 acts as an alternative DNA repair enzyme. Alternative DNA repair enzyme, and this synthesizes a new strand of DNA even if the DNA is or a template strand is damaged. Synthesize DNA even if template strand is damaged. Now let's discuss DNA polymerase 4 and 5 first. DNA polymerase 4 is also called as DIN-B enzyme, DIN, DIN-B enzyme, and DNA 5 is also called as AMU D2-C. These two enzymes collectively forms a gamma family DNA polymerase. These two enzymes shows 3-5- exonuclease activity, that is the ability of proofreading. These two enzymes synthesize a DNA even if the template strand have a damaged or mismatched nucleotide by passing those damaged portion of a DNA strand, which basically affects the processivity rate of DNA replication. Now let's discuss DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3 is the primary enzyme of DNA replication, discovered by Thomas Kornberg in 1970, who is a son of author Kornberg, who discovered DNA polymerase 1, and it is a multi-protein complex which consists of 10 polypeptides, which are alpha, epsilon, theta, tau, gamma, delta, delta dash, pi, chi, and beta. These are the 10 different polypeptides which forms and DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3 has high processivity rate or depolymerization rate, that is, it adds 1000 nucleotide per second to a newly synthesizing DNA strand. Now at replication fork, this DNA polymerase 3 enzyme is present as an holoenzyme, which consists of 4 subunits. It has 4 subunits, in which it consists of 2 catalytic core, 2 dimerization component, 2 processivity component, and 1 clamp loader. These are the 4 components of an holoenzyme. Now the 2 units of catalytic core is formed by alpha, epsilon, and theta subunit. Alpha subunit has 5-3- polymerase activity. Epsilon has 3-5- exonuclease activity, which is an ability of proofreading the newly synthesized strand, and this theta enhance the activity of epsilon. Next, the dimerization component, it is formed by tau subunit. Now the processivity component, it is formed by 2 beta polypeptide, hence a dimer of beta polypeptide, and this dimer is called as sliding clamp. Now last, it consists of 1 clamp loader, which is also called as gamma complex, and it is formed by 5 subunits, which is delta, delta dash, chi, and gamma. These are the 5 subunits which forms a clamp loader. Now let's see how these 4 components of an holoenzyme react in the process of DNA replication. In DNA polymerase holoenzyme, 2 catalytic core, this linked to 1 clamp loader, and then these 2 linked to sliding clamp. This sliding clamp is loaded on DNA template, and this loading is facilitated by clamp loader. So the function of clamp loader is to load the sliding clamp on an DNA template. First of all, this catalytic core get linked to replication fork, and this association of catalytic core to replication fork is facilitated by dimerization complex. It is facilitated by dimerization complex. Which is formed by Tau subunit. Let's revise it once again. DNA polymerase present as holoenzyme consists of 4 subunits, 2 catalytic cores, 2 dimerization complex, 2 processivity complex, and 1 clamp loader. It is made up of 5 polypeptide and also called as gamma complex. Processivity component is a dimer of beta polypeptide and also called as sliding clamp. Dimerization is formed by Tau, a single polypeptide, and catalytic core is formed by 3 polypeptide, alpha, epsilon and theta, where alpha has 5' 3' polymerase activity, epsilon has 3' 5' exonuclease activity, and theta enhance the activity of epsilon. In an replication fork, first of all, these subunit of holoenzyme react each other and forms an holoenzyme where 2 catalytic core linked to clamp loader, and these 2 components afterwards linked to sliding clamp. Then they move on to DNA template where the sliding clamp is loaded to DNA template, and this loading is facilitated by clamp loader. After that, this catalytic core linked to replication fork, and this loading of catalytic core on a replication fork is done by dimerization complex, which is a Tau, and they form a complete holoenzyme on a during DNA replication at the location of replication fork, and extend both the strand of DNA, which is leading and lagging strand. In this lecture, we had completed DNA polymerase of prokaryotes, and in the next lecture, we shall be discussing the DNA polymerase of prokaryotes. Till then, stay tuned, keep watching Zoolophyte, and please like and share the videos, and also subscribe to the channel Zoolophyte. Thank you.